YouTube. It's Theme Park Bazza here with...
This is Bazza.
And today we are going to tell you a little bit, it's a vlog we've been asked to do many times, and we're going to tell you a little bit about our journey moving to the USA. If you've been watching the vlog series, where you are now, you will have just seen the last one would have been us arriving in the UK, our travel day. We've been here a few weeks, you've got a few more vlogs coming of things we've been up to. But as we are now here in our hometown of Barnoldswick, where we were both lived. Guessing you were born here, weren't you, really?
No, Skipton.
Well, Skipton, but I moved here when I was 2, and you were living here all the time, weren't you?
Yeah.
In Barnoldswick, where we met, close to where we got married, and where we moved to when we went to America. We thought this would be a good spot. We were going to do a sit-down vlog, but we thought, hey, you know what? It's a beautiful day. Let's bring you out to somewhere that is very close to our hearts, which is the canal. So Barnoldswick is actually on the Leeds and Liverpool Canal. I'll put a little picture in here of Barnoldswick and where it is, and this is probably the highest point I think on the Leeds and Liverpool Canal around here, and probably why I sort of gravitate to watching Foxes Afloat or Holly the Canal Boat, because this canal has been sort of part of our lives since we were born, and daily walks and weekend walks around the canal. So we're going to walk with you on the canal to a certain location and talk a little bit about our journey to the USA. Let's talk about our journey though to the United States of America. So basically I started working, or my company got acquired by an American company sort of in the early 90s, and that's a very important thing. If you are working for an American company, you get the opportunity sometimes to relocate, and I think in 97 was my first trip to the USA on a business trip to the company headquarters, and I was taken with it, and we talked about it then, but we had young kids, weren't really ready, big adventure to go there. So yeah, it wasn't the right time in the late 90s, so we just started basically going on holiday, didn't we? Going on vacation to Orlando from 2000 onwards, every year, and California and Las Vegas. Took the kids, did the whole American experience, and I think we both kind of liked it, didn't we?
We fell in love, didn't we?
Fell in love with it. Isn't that always the way when you're on a film?
You should expect it.
Actually, nobody else out here apart from somebody setting a chainsaw off the second you walk past. So in March 2005, now we've moved away from the chainsaw, an opportunity came up to relocate, and we both talked about it. Timing was right, wasn't it?
Yep.
We thought an opportunity for us and for the kids, to give them an opportunity to be dual citizens, to be able to live and work in the US or live and work in Europe. So we flew over that summer, had a look round, and we were given two options, weren't we? It was either Charlottesville, Virginia, or Boston, and Charlottesville was cheaper and nicer for bringing a family up.
And not as much snow.
And not as much snow. Maxine doesn't like snow. Charlottesville's about 2 hours south of DC, about halfway down on the right. So really there's only one of three ways you can get to America if you want to live there. One is be sponsored by a company like I was. So I went out, was it an L1 or an L1 visa? L1B visa. And Maxine couldn't work.
No, I actually could work.
You could work on that?
Yes, they let me work.
Why didn't you then? Get out there. Wish I had kids.
Because I had kids.
So we and the kids, we decided to come out for a year. The second way you can come over to the US is if you start your own business over here and you do hire American citizens and come out on a business visa. And the third way is if you're a millionaire and you just want to buy a house and live out there. But really, if any of you are thinking of doing it, the best thing to do is try and get yourself a job with an American company and go through a relo, because they paid for our relocation, didn't they? House and flights and furniture shipping. So it was the easiest. Big corporate companies good at doing that in the 2000s. So we did that, and we went for a year, and we rented and said if it doesn't work out, we'll come back. Luckily or unluckily, it was late 2000, 2006, 2007, so houses weren't really selling just before the financial crisis. So I think it took a year,
Yeah.
18 months for our house to sell, but on the flip side, if we needed to come back, it was still there. And we had enough savings to pay the rental for a year when we went out there. So we did that. With those L1 or L2 visas, they have to be renewed every 2 or 3 years, or did. So we went through the renewal, didn't we? Once, I think we went through the renewal. And then you can get a green card after 5 years out there. So we started the application. I mean, it was 3 years after they can get a green card.
It's 3 years.
Yeah, so we went for the green card application. The difference being is, when you're on an L1 visa, if you get fired, basically you have to leave the country with that company, because that company is sponsoring you. So that's the risk, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we were very happy. Company paid for our green cards, but that was a bit of an experience, wasn't it?
Yeah, you had to have all medicals and all sorts of, yeah, lots of money involved.
Yeah, they paid.
Lawyers.
And even with the visa going over, there was lots of paperwork and money. They offered to pay for it as long as I agreed to stay with them like another 3 years working. So we did that. But once you have your green card, you can basically go anywhere. Yeah, you're classed as not an American citizen, but as a permanent resident. And what that means is you can do everything a resident can do, apart from
Vote.
vote for president,
Vote for the president and serve on a jury.
serve on a jury if you get summoned.
Can't think of it.
And
This is
there was one.
something
Oh,
else.
you can't join the military.
That was it.
If they call you up to join the military, and any of those we thought we're all good with. So we went on the green card, and some people stay in the States on green cards. You have to renew them every 10 years, and typically those are about $600 or $700 to renew. But a lot of people I know just got green cards and stayed on them, never went for citizenship. So we did that, and of course that means you could change jobs. You don't get a passport for anything like that, but you do get the green card, and you can still be ejected from the country if you commit a felony. You get arrested for something. They still have the right to kick you out. You have no rights to actually stay there. If you, that's Rolls Royce we're just coming past now. If you actually cause any problems. And we stayed on that. We stayed in Virginia, stayed in that company probably to 2016, 17. And what we found was from about 2010 onwards, we were coming down to Florida. How many times a year would you say?
3 or 4.
3 or 4 times a year, getting flights down. It's only a couple of hours, but still money and hotels. And as we started thinking, where do we want to be? We never planned to be in Orlando. It was never planned from day one, was it?
No, it wasn't planned. We thought we might like it because of all the roller coasters,
Yeah.
but it wasn't planned.
But after we started going for a few years, we started thinking, yeah. When would you say it was that we actually decided we wanted to be there?
I don't know. Well, we were going to go before Chloe went to college, weren't we?
Yeah.
So it was at least 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Chloe was in college for 4 years.
Yeah.
So, was that 2016?
Yep, 2016, but then of course we couldn't really afford, with Chloe being in college and the expensive college fees, we decided that really was not, the timing was right. And that's the thing, if you're going to move to Florida, timing's got to be right, reasons are got to be right, reasons are got to be right, 'cause it's different living there to visiting as a tourist.
It is.
So we had a few of those things to kind of work on. By the way, you see behind me now, we're just coming past Rolls. This is Rolls Royce, where I used to work, where my dad used to work, where my brother-in-law used to work,
My dad used
where
to
Maxon's
work.
dad used to work. Granddad used to work. This is the big employer. Rolls Royce Aeros, by the way, not cars. Aerospace. This was a big employer. I did my apprenticeship here as an electrician. Wired a lot of these lights and things up here. So this is the big money earner for the town of Barnoldswick. This is where the RB211 engine was built. Rolls-Royce Barnoldswick, RB211, so the initial stand for, that powered the 747s when they were flying. No one's made the town bankrupt. We used to have test beds here as well and fire the engines up. They made a bit of a racket when they were going, didn't they?
Yeah.
Back in the day. You can see the test beds from here. I've taken them down now.
Probably put sneakers in the hedge.
Yeah, this spot just here is where I died on a fire alarm test once. We were outside a building and we never heard it, and so the marshal came around and told me I'm dead. So I died here once, grandly. So about to cross the bridge now onto the other side of the canal, and we'll carry on our story as we get onto the other side of the canal. It's my bad, we haven't been here for a bit. We're going under the bridge. It's the next bridge we cross over and go to the other side. So we'll just go under this bridge and do what everybody does. There's Rolls-Royce.
You see it?
There's the factory. Rolls-Royce Aerospace. Bankfield site. And we'll do what anybody does when they go under a bridge on a canal. Woo!
Echo.
Woo! 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 As kids.
Never grow up.
Never grow up, do we?
Nope.
So 2016 we were looking, we had to pay for Chloe's college, which is very expensive in America. So when she graduated in 2019, just before the epidemic, we started looking again, didn't we? And was it the autumn of 2019 we got the Airbnb for a month?
November.
November 2019, we got an Airbnb for a month to come down and just scout out the area because we wanted to look for a rental again to so reduce the risk. Some of the beautiful sights, just swap sides here of the canal, of the council houses that are over there. So yeah, we 2016 we kind of looked. 2019 we got the Airbnb, luckily to find a rental, and again we got a rental for a year to sort of try it out, didn't we?
Yep.
See how it was going to be, and scouted around houses when we were down there while we sold our house in Virginia, so we could afford to be down there. Just slightly cheaper in housing, but not much. All housing is crazy at the moment, and I'll put some links into those vlogs of where we sold our house in Virginia and the walkthrough and everything above, so you can see that. So that was really the journey, I would say. What have we learnt about living in Orlando compared with visiting Orlando that's different, Max? What would you say?
It's really hot.
Yeah,
For
humid.
a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a bit of getting used to, does the heat.
We survived our first summer.
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah, it's been nicer being back in the UK because it's now late September. It's starting to cool off a bit now, though. We've got a couple of nice days. That's why we're walking out here to enjoy the weather. But we've enjoyed getting away from the heat for a bit, haven't we?
Yeah.
Because it's there all the time. So you've got to be aware of the heat. You've got to be aware of the traffic. All you tourists are not back there yet, but it's always pretty busy. Big city. So it's always busy with traffic, isn't it, as you come down? What else? Jobs aren't that well paying.
Yeah.
Luckily my job is out of state. And by the way, Florida doesn't charge a state income tax. So income tax, like taking tax out of your salary every month, they don't charge one because they get income from tourists. So I got a pay rise moving down there. Basically covered the rental because I got the tax back. So there are some tax breaks for living there. But it's very busy, it's very hot, it's very humid. But what was the reason we moved down for, Max?
Roller coasters.
Roller coasters. So we thought we would take the, should I say the sunset of it? It sounds like we're getting really old, isn't it? Yeah. The fun years of our lives of the kids have left us to enjoy roller coasters while we're still fit and healthy to do it. So that was part of the plan there to do that. And so why not live close to them when you can, if you're working as I am, 5 days a week. Then at least when you break in the evenings or at the weekends you can go. So are we lucky? Yes, we are very lucky. How did we help that look along? Well, like I say, target working for a company where you may have the opportunity to work out there, to move out there. If the opportunity comes, I always say, will you regret it? That's what we said, isn't it? We put a checklist together under these bushes here. Woo-hoo. People said we were risky, but we just said, well, we regret it, didn't we?
Yeah, we always had the chance to come back, didn't we?
Yeah.
We only went for a year.
Yeah, we have friends and family back here, so we had a safety net to come back to. Pretty sure I could get another job back here if I needed it. But we saved up as well. We planned. We didn't just do it on the spur and say we're going. We did save up for a while. We didn't move down to Florida until we were financially. We're good to go. And I say it was never the plan from day one to move down there. It was always just something that evolved as we were there, and we started, more drilling going on as it evolved.
Peaceful walk along the canal.
Yeah, quiet walk on the canal. quieter than walking around. The other thing about Florida I don't realise is all the noise pollution from all the grass cutting and if we were doing this in Florida we'd be fighting against trimmers and lawnmowers because everybody pays to have the grass cut because it's so warm out there. But so this is really quite quiet for us. Here is Silent Night. This is the other big factory. I think my sister worked here. My sisters may have worked here at one time, but this is the other big employer of the town. Silent Night Beds, who I'd say Rolls-Royce is by far the biggest, but this was the second biggest, wasn't it? And we've now crossed the bridge on the second part of our leg to our secret destination that we'll take you to and continue our story. I'd say one of the things to watch out for that really caught us out when we were moving over here though was credit history, wasn't it?
Yeah.
One thing we didn't factor in was when you live in the UK, and if you use the same banks over here, you don't have any credit history. So they'll lend money to people with bad credit, they'll lend money to people with good credit, but if you've got no credit, you get no money. We couldn't get a credit card when we came over, could we? But the first car we had to buy was cash, because we couldn't actually get any credit. And when we did get credit for a car, it was only through the company payroll, and they had to have my payroll directly debited into the account, and they still charge about 6 or 7%, where the going rate for a new car was like 0.5. So be aware of that if you're thinking of coming over here. Getting yourself a bank account set up early so you have some credit history is definitely worth it. Once we got a house and we started paying a mortgage, it took about 3 years I think for us to get good credit so we could get money whenever we needed it, but it took a while. That was one of the big gotchas for moving over here. We didn't factor in everything else, you know. You can't bring your electronics with you because none of it works over here. So I think the first thing we did when we got here was buy a TV, PlayStation, a couple of inflatable chairs for the rental. But we did rent furniture for the first year, or the company helped us. No, they rented it for a month and gave us a rental car for a month and gave us a chance to get settled and get sorted. So again, going with a big blue chip company is pretty useful for that, because they're used to doing it, they're used to relocating people, they're used to all the problems. So it kind of worked well for us. We did have some friends who had a bar in Orlando. Mick, he left and went back to the UK eventually, and that was for the healthcare, because the big thing over here is healthcare as well, is you don't get it over here, you have to pay for it. So that's a big challenge when you're moving over here, is to factor that in. Yeah, very expensive. I think it's about $200 or $300 a month, isn't it? You would pay for that?
That's just paying it out your
Your salary.
Salary. Then you've got to pay your co-pays on top if you go to the doctor.
If you go to the doctors, yes.
It's usually about $50 to $150 a time.
Yeah, I would say, you know, our co-pay, I think the maximum they can take out is $11,000 a year, and then they'll cover everything, but we have to have that in the bank. There are ones where they'll take less out, like $3,000, $5,000, but you end up paying $400 or $500 a month. So factor that in. If you got kids, school is not cheap, college is not cheap. In-state college will be what a year?
Between $25,000 and $30,000.
$25,000 and $30,000 a year for a 4-year course. So you know you're about over
by 4.
Yeah, over $100,000. If you go out of state, double that. So that takes money. So that's when kids are born over here. They usually start up a fund when they're born, and also they when they graduate, we didn't get that. They give them money, don't they?
Yeah. Give
them cash, which we thought was weird, but then we found out why. Because there's a scam as well with the colleges for books and things like that. So yeah, there's a lot of things that you wouldn't factor in. The other one is if you're planning on having children out here, factor in $30,000 for a baby in the hospital. Again, it's very, very expensive over here for healthcare. So positives, negatives, we just put them down on a piece of paper, didn't we? And worked out what it is. As we get into our next phase of life, we've got to work out what's it going to cost us to live here. Now we don't have the mortgage on the house anymore. What does it cost us for theme park tickets, for powering the AC every day, for electricity, for food, for all coming back to the England? once a year to see family. We've got to factor all that in to make sure we can budget for that. But yeah, so I would say a couple of tips. Going with your eyes open. Rent for the first year. Going with a company is by far the easiest way. Mick, who ran the pub, you have to have American citizens working for you. You have to prove why you are employing locals. And also coming over here, you just can't come over as in any, just in any job. You have to, we had paperwork and lawyers who had to fill in and say why the job was given to me and not given to a local here in the US. So it's better getting yourself into a niche field where you can sort of be someone that can justify why you would want to come over here.
So I think they're always like looking for nurses and doctors and stuff like that. So
yeah, professionals, nurses, doctors.
You've got probably a better chance of getting in.
Lots of construction work going on in Orlando as well. Project managers, construction work, tons of stuff with the parks and everything that's going on. So they're always looking, always hiring. But again, they don't pay great salaries in Orlando. We know people who have lived here and moved away because the salaries just weren't that good. They couldn't afford to live here. And going to the parks is expensive. We go once a week. We're lucky enough to be able to go once a week, but financially, it's probably all you can really afford when you're buying the meals. Disney prices exists, and tourist prices exist because we're in a tourist area. You tend to find all the bars and pubs in the areas round about. You may think they're cheap when you come from the UK, but actually they're expensive compared with the rest of America. Mm-hmm. So we talk about Disney prices and we mean it. So Disney prices do exist and we experience them every day. Again, it's part of the cost of living is cheaper in the US, tax is cheaper in the US, but medical is more. Getting a job there tends to be easier once you're there, but getting over is a bit of a palaver, isn't it? Mm-hmm. To go over there, even to go through the green card thing, as we mentioned, is a bit of a palaver. But I would say if you want to do it, do it. What have you got to lose? Do it sensibly. Have money in the bank before you go. Weigh up the risks. But we did go for citizenship 3 years ago, so now we can vote. And we've got dual passports, as you saw in the vlog. Hopefully you're watching the last couple of vlogs. Getting over here, we have dual citizenship, which is the reason we can be here. But also it helps the kids in their careers that they can work in different places and be a citizen of that country and be able to go different places and travel different places as and when they want. So we set them off on the best we can. We're going to enjoy the next few years of our life now down by the parks, and again, living near the parks was never a choice initially, was it?
No, we didn't think we could afford it, did we?
The big thing for us was not living near aeroplanes, because there's a lot of planes flying over Orlando, and it was trying to find somewhere where there weren't planes flying over, which was hard.
Which was quite hard.
Well, you wouldn't believe it when you're actually so close to the parks. But yeah, and this place was a fluke, so get a good realtor. We can put you in contact with people if you are looking at coming over who can help. But get a good realtor. He found that place up near Disney, but we weren't looking because of the prices. Mm-hmm. But he managed to find that, snag that one, and we were lucky. Again, but it was all about, I guess in some cases, trying to make your own luck by getting contacts, by pacing yourself, by having money, by not being rushed. We decided if we couldn't find a place, we would rent for another year. We weren't desperate, had to have this place, had to have it closed by this date, because at the end of the day, you never know. You can't predict what's going to happen, can you? Nope. So, woo, to the tunnel, woo. You can't predict what's going to happen. So, I think that's probably about it. Was there anything else that we want to share?
I don't think so.
So, if you folks have any questions about moving to America in more detail, you can just DM me. That's trendy words for direct message me on our social media. I'll put the links up above. Or you can leave a message on this vlog and let me know, and we will be honest and share with you our experiences. Again, our experiences date from 2005, so maybe a little bit different today. I don't think they are, but if you need to know a little about the citizenship test or getting citizenship, or ideas for where to go look for rentals in Orlando, I would say the other thing I've said to a few folks, if you can swing it, will be to come over here for a month like we did and try it out. If you can work from an Airbnb remotely, or you can get that amount of time off, try before you buy. It's always a good idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
See if you can see what it's like, because it's very different living somewhere to visiting somewhere. I'm not saying it's worse, I'm just saying it's different, isn't it, for what you see. So so at this point we're coming past the marina, and you'll see all the boats up here on the right in a minute, all docked in the marina. There's a nice cafe there as well. There's some very pretty boats down here. So this is where we were supposed to be coming, but it's closed on a Monday, would you believe? So the Anchor Inn. So we are going to go with a plan B because we can't get in because the inn is closed. There's got to be a pub at the end of a walk, hasn't there? Plan B, the Punch Bowl at Earby, which is open and is serving food, so we can always make it work somehow. Let's go and have a beer.
Gotta get it right now. Yeah, push all the levers with you right now. Gotta get it right now. Yeah, push all the levers with you right now. Gotta get it right now. Yeah, push all the levers with you right now. Gotta get it right now. Yeah, push all the levers with you right now.
We had a good lunch, didn't we?
We did.
Eventually, found a pub that was open. Good food here at the Punch Bowl. So we hope you enjoyed our vlog today around our journey to America. If you have any questions, just direct message me, as we said, on social media, or put a comment below. We try and respond. We try and respond to all your comments. If you like what we do, please like and subscribe. It does help the channel, doesn't it, Max? Food coma. And we
Well,
will.
I'm alive.
And we will see you later.